So, if you don't know already, some brand spanking new weapons will be released for TF2 in the upcoming Pyro/Jungle update, the first since 2014. Now that's all fine and dandy, but you may realize that the title of this video has the word dilemma in it. I use this word purposefully because I feel like the release of new weapons brings up a question. Do we really want new weapons? Now you may be thinking, well of course we want new weapons. It's new toys for us to play with, and we've been lacking of them for such a long time. Which I have to agree with. New weapons can definitely be fun to play with, and sometimes bring brand new playstyles for the classes that we all know and love. But I'm asking the question, should we have new weapons when the weapons we currently have aren't that balanced? This is where the word dilemma comes into play. Should we break the long drought of new weapons and finally get something other than hats and controversial balance changes and updates? Or wait to do that until all the weapons in the game currently are in places where they aren't too good or too bad, but still fun to play with and against? Let's use 3 weapons from Pyro's arsenal as an example of each kind of weapon: the reserve shooter, the sharpened volcano fragment, and the power jack, being the broken weapon, the underpowered weapon, and the balanced weapon respectively. The reserve shooter, at least on the Pyro, is considered broken because it rewards the player for doing something that is easy as clicking a button, the reward being a large amount of damage for simply throwing your enemy in the air, which is incredibly simple on Pyro. Now let's turn the tables and look at the sharpened volcano fragment. The fragment is considered underpowered because it trades damage for being able to light people on fire on a melee weapon, which you need to be up close to an enemy to do. But since you're already playing Pyro, you might as well just flame them down with your primary because you're already up close, making this weapon virtually useless. Due to this, the reserve shooter is used a lot more often because you can do an insane amount of damage by simply pressing mouse 2. Likewise, the volcano fragment is underused because you have so many other better options, both in weapons you could be using and what you could be doing in a situation when it's considered useful. But in the middle, you have the balanced weapon, the power jack. The power jack allows the player to move 15% faster when deployed and grants you 25 health upon killing an enemy. But as a downside, you take 20% more damage from everything when it's deployed. This is balanced because the weapon is mainly used as a tool to roll out to the front lines faster, along with being able to retreat when things go downhill for you. The thing is that you need to have the weapon out in order to have these benefits, and if you try to kill someone with the weapon, you're going to have to be a lot more careful because you're going to take 20% more damage from all sources. Plus, 25 health on kill isn't really a lot, and it can't overheal you as the weapon used to do before the Tough Break update. The power jack's upsides are good, yes, but the downside is enough to keep it all in check. There are a lot more examples I could go into, but those 3 are the best when regarding the topic at hand. So before we answer the questions, we should go into the pros and cons of both options. Get new weapons or wait until the ones we have are balanced. The pros for get new weapons is: 1. We get an entire new way to play a class that couldn't be done before. 2. The weapon meta changes drastically with new options. And 3. Classes themselves become a lot less boring to play now they have some shiny new toys to play with. As for the cons, updates take longer to come out as the TF team have to spend countless hours making sure the weapon isn't too overpowered or underpowered, along with making the model and kill feed icons, etc, etc. And 2, the possibility that the weapon is broken upon release, leaving a few weeks where the weapon is no fun to play against until it is inevitably patched. This has happened before, and I wouldn't be surprised if it ever happened again. As for waiting for the current weapons to be balanced, for pros, number 1, the game becomes a lot more fun to play in the long run, because when you get killed by a certain weapon, it doesn't make you want to pull your hair out. 2, the game would become a lot more viable to become a competitive esport, as none of the weapons are must-picks. And number 3, most importantly, you don't feel like the scum of the earth when using a weapon that is extremely unfair. For cons, the game will become incredibly boring as time goes on, as no new playstyles will be coming for a long time. This can easily drive people away from the game as there's nothing new to heighten their interest, and make them continue playing because they've already done everything. And 2, this would take an insane amount of time, because perfectly balancing all 126 unique weapons in the game is on the verge of impossibility, and this will only become more impossible as more weapons are added into the game. You can already see that this is an incredibly tough decision. By choosing one, you're already making the other one more difficult. If you add more weapons to the game, then it becomes harder to perfectly balance every weapon. But if you spend hours upon hours perfectly balancing every weapon, why add new ones when it could possibly mess up the balance, making the work completely worthless? This is really where your own personal decision comes into play. Personally, I would choose the option to try to perfectly balance all the weapons that we have now, instead of adding new ones. Mainly because I want the game to be as fun as it is now, instead of in the future. Because if the game isn't fun now, then it won't have a future in the first place, and that's the last thing I want. Before I leave, I just want to thank you guys for 50 subscribers. That is 45 more than I ever expected, and it means a lot that you guys like my trashy content enough to somehow want even more. I know it's rather cliche, but I have to say thank you, from the bottom of my heart. Especially to my friend Agent Luke. He has helped me immensely over these past few months, and without him, I would be nowhere near where I am now, so go give him some love. His Steam page is in the description, so go check out his amazing art. I've also opened up a Discord channel for everyone to go chat in. I'm pretty active in there, so it's probably the best way to talk to me directly. Also, you should go follow me on Twitter at Orguy448 for your daily doses of terrible memes and forced jokes that I somehow can't fit into my videos. And why are you sounding alarmed? This is an important message for the general public. Please turn it off.